going on? What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? I know we haven't been on the show. We haven't done a show in a few weeks. And in fact, Michael's not with us because he's doing some cool stuff at Dark Side Brick Oven Pizza Company. I'm sure we'll tell you more about it next week. So Michael can't join us today. But of course, we have the man of the hour here. Got Marcel joining us, and Nancy. Thank you so much for jumping on.
Yeah, man. Of course.
Hey, Nancy.
It's nice to be back home.
Right? It really we've been so bad about doing the shows. Obviously, it's been busy couple weeks, and then obviously Michael's busy at the restaurant, so it's been hard to kind of coordinate and get everything going. But I'm so happy that you reached out and, told us about this new print that you're working on, and even just to catch up, right? We haven't had you on the show for a little while now. So,
Yeah, we did our last bit with C3PO, and we had a whole bunch of stuff go on with our place. We had a massive flood here, and that put me out of work for 4 months. So we were just living from verbo to verbo to verbo because there was a massive flood in our kitchen and dining room. Happened during our last trip down to California. Yeah. So it was nice to get started and back to work early this year. And so it's great to be able to come back to the Collection Wars space and to show, talk about what we're doing right now with our Victor Botha, there we go. Our Deathtrooper signature series. It's just been an amazing turn of events. We were super, super lucky to meet Victor, but we'll get to all that. I don't know if you have any housekeeping that you want to take care of. Say hi to the folks in the chat, and then we'll get to.
People are rolling in right now. I'm sure they're like, wait, wait a second, Collection Wars.
Yeah, well, we just you recently changed the time, right, to accommodate Mike's new business hours. And then I come in and I'm like, yo, man, I've got this long interview, so maybe we could do it a little bit earlier. So thank you very much for being so accommodating. We, of course, really.
No, and the plan was going to be that we're going to do, because we have a whole interview that we're going to show. And, the whole thing about 40 something minutes. So I figured, let's jump on our normal time. And then by the time we're finished with that, Michael would jump on. But like I said, Michael's doing some pretty cool stuff right now.
So is this some top secret stuff that you can't talk about?
I didn't ask him if I could talk about it. I'm sure he wouldn't mind, but I'll let him tell you guys all about it. But he has another big Back to the Future star over at the restaurant. So
wow, cool, very cool.
Exciting to see all that. So. But yeah, let's say hi to some of our friends that are online here. We got Mick White. What's up, Mick? Yeah, 107 in California. Yeah, I mean, I'm in San Diego and it's in the 80s right now, but so it's not horrible down here. We got
hey Scotty. Hey, happy birthday, Scotty. I don't know how old you are, bro. What, 25, 26? Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Scott. Nice, man. Hopefully you're doing something fun, enjoying your day. Cool. Yeah, everybody, tell Scott happy birthday. Chris, what's up, Chris? How you doing? We got Jens in the house. Yeah.
Oh, Jens.
Yeah. 80 degrees. Yep. We got Al Bundy. What? Al Bundy. What? How you doing? And yeah, we got Louis up in here. Just bought his.
What? Already?
Do it.
I just launched it.
And there you go. We got Brian.
Hey, Brian, isn't it your birthday today, bro? Happy birthday, Brian.
Was Brian's birthday too?
Sweet 16, baby.
What? Happy birthday, man.
Yeah.
Celebrating a bunch of birthdays today.
Cool.
We got Star Wars Addict 88. What's going on, man? We got Sean in the house. What's up, Sean?
Yo, Sean, how's it going, man?
Yeah. Who else we got in here? Kai the guy. What's up?
Yo, Kai.
Like 2 years. I know, right? That's what I'm saying. We're gonna get this working on it. We're gonna try to get it more consistent. And you know what? I've been talking to Michael about even just thinking about changing the format of the show a little bit more from time to time, where, 'cause sometimes it's just me and Michael just chatting. Maybe on some days we, let's get other people from the community to kind of jump on. In case like Michael can't jump on or I can't jump on. That'll kind of take the stress off of everybody, and then we could all just jump on and have a good time,
Yeah.
That's so funny that Brian and Scott's birthday. Man, happy birthday, guys.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Johnny, invite someone. You're always welcome, Johnny. You're always welcome to jump on. You're actually a good interviewer. I remember you had you on and you were interviewing me. I'm like,
oh yeah, that's right. That was great.
Yeah, these are good
That
questions.
was super professional.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it'd be cool to have people on, jump on, and even just chat about different things. Obviously, like, we're not gonna get into that tonight, but like, obviously the acolytes out there, and there's little
Never heard of it.
debates here and there. It'd be cool to jump on and do, little debates here and there. Chris in the house. What's up, Chris? Lane.
They're cool.
Deathtroopers.
Yeah, Deathtroopers.
They are the coolest looking.
They're
really
super
looking.
Lane. They're super sick.
Absolutely.
Nothing but love for Deathtroopers.
I should have been wearing mine right now, the whole show, as we do the show.
So you can see the Death Trooper behind you.
Oh yeah, I know. We didn't really, because there's two of us. We can't, and this room is actually really small.
This is the studio.
It's my workspace. Yeah, I can't really get a good shot of it. That's all right. People have seen it before.
We're going to see some pictures, and we're going to talk about it too. But yeah, no, from Rogue One and Mando, yeah. We were just talking about that. Right, Marcel, earlier today, we were talking about Rogue One just in general and how like Rogue One tends to be kind of like the fan favorite. I mean, it really is. Like a lot of people sometimes even put Rogue One above the original trilogy. They say
it's the one that really unites all the fans. Like OT, prequel, everybody loves it.
Everybody.
Something about it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it a little bit. I've got some stuff I wanted to mention about it. But yeah, it was just so well put together, and it was in the right hands. And maybe it could be, I don't know, I wasn't there, but Gareth Edwards and is it Tony Gilroy? And everybody kind of was well-meaning, it seems, and the result was the best of all possible worlds.
Yeah, you got Diego Luna's in town tonight. Yeah, that's right, at that convention, right?
Oh, what's the con?
I think it's like, what was it, like Superhero Con or something? I forgot what it's called, but it's there in San Antonio.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah. So, well, cool. Well, yeah. I mean, I'd say let's. I want to know more about it. I want to know more about your process. I want to hear the backstory and all that.
Yeah. We got lots of cool stuff to talk about. Should we get started?
Let me bring up the pictures real quick. And,
for sure.
Let's start with that.
All right. So, as everybody already knows, this is our Deathtrooper fine art print. And I have a couple of stories that I'd like to share with everybody, kind of how it all went down. Each sort of experience is kind of unique. When we were doing Ray Park, for example, and Anthony Daniels, and Ian McDermott, we had some help with some folks out of town, Nilda and Sean. They helped us out with the con, and then we did a project, kind of just jumping around a little bit. We did a project with a Marshall Lucas project with Imperial Walkers Inc. and Hector. And then most recently, we did a really cool project with Quentin Pierre, the Imperial Emperor's Private Guard. And that was the first time we ever reached out to one of the Star Wars actors on our own. It wasn't a con or anything like that. So Nancy and I, what we've been trying to do is just do more, take on more, create more interesting events for ourselves and for you guys. So when we had this project, it was a pretty interesting one to undertake, and that's what a lot of tonight is going to be about. Before we do that, I just wanted to talk about where it all began, which is Star Wars. And this is pretty much true for a lot of people. Star Wars for me is the original trilogy is basically, it's all I need. It had everything. And not only did it have everything, it had the special effects and the story and the heroism and good and evil and all that good stuff. But it was at exactly the right time for me. So, 1977, I was there at the cinema, like everybody else. I'm on the old side. But it was just a fantastic experience that had, it was awesome. It had years of anticipation. And the anticipation wasn't just for the story. It was for the effects and, everything that came with it. And you had to wait, what was it, like 2-3 years between each film. And so it was just super exciting when each one dropped. And I was at that magical age, from 7 to about 13, where I just soaked up the original trilogy in my imagination. It formed my creativity. It compelled me to get into art even more because it was such an inspiration. So it was kind of like the right time, right place, and the right time for me. So the prequel series, it didn't hit with me the same because I was older and less interested. My anticipation was less focused. And when it came out, it just didn't hit the same. Of course, mad respect to all the prequel fans. There's a lot of love there, and there's lots of cool characters, and I've done some of them. I had the chance to go meet Ray Park. And that was super exciting. I loved meeting him. And what happens with Rogue One for me was that of all of the Star Wars films and shows, for one, Rogue One hits the most like the original trilogy, just for me, right? People say, oh, you should love the prequels more. I would love to love them all equally, but it's just what resonates with me, what kind of touches the nostalgia for me, and some of the story. And so when I undertook this project, I got to thinking about Rogue One. And I was thinking, okay, well, if Rogue One has kind of got that OT vibe, what is it about Rogue One that has that OT vibe? And you'll notice a couple of things about the protagonist. She is, at the beginning, her story is very similar to Luke Skywalker's story, where at the beginning, she's very all over the place. She's not sure what it is that she wants to do. She's not sure where it is she wants to go. And things are happening to her that are outside of her control. And by the end of the film, she's very, very, very focused. And she knows exactly what she wants to do. She's achieved a lot of clarity. And Gareth Edwards, in his filming of the Rogue One, demonstrated this through the color template of the film. The color template of the film at the beginning is very, very dark, murky and muddy colors. And at the end, on the Battle of Scarif, everything is extremely clear, clear blue skies, clear water, everything. For Gareth Edwards, it demonstrated her clarity of purpose. And her,
even when the explosion went off, she was the one that was staring at it, right?
Yeah. She knew exactly what it was that she wanted to do. And so her sort of development into becoming a rebel had the same effect on Cassian Andor as Luke's development into becoming a rebel had on Han Solo. So there's a parallel between Jyn Erso and Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
These are just ideas. I'm not making any kind of claims. These are just my ideas about why I think it resonates with me for the OT. I'm not trying to make nail a claim to it. I'm just showing how.
Let me.
Go ahead. What do you want?
Let me add another little coincidence there.
Yeah.
Her dad.
Yes.
Is a bad guy.
He's in the Empire.
With the good,
and both fathers are redeemed. Yeah.
And no mom.
No mom. Yeah.
Right.
Mom died. Yeah.
So what happens with Jyn Erso is her maturity into her clarity of purpose flips Cassian Andor.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas Cassian Andor starts out at this kind of, he was a rebel already, but he had this kind of mercenarial attitude, very much like the OG Han Solo with Greedo.
Yeah.
Yes, he was a smuggler, but he had a very strong mercenarial streak. And so if you take the cast of Star Wars, well, you have Chewbacca and you have C-3PO. Well, Chewbacca is Han Solo's sidekick. K2SO, Cassian Andor's sidekick. K2SO is like Chewbacca and C-3PO rolled into one, right? Of course, the ending of Star Wars and the ending of Rogue One are different forms of heroism.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that's the same is the character arc and the storytelling of how you have different kinds of people coming together to confront a common enemy. Mm-hmm. And they both go through all the characters go through different situations to come to an understanding that the common enemy is more important than anything else and that they have to do something about it. And in Star Wars, they do something about it, blow up the Death Star. And in Rogue One, obviously, they do something about it. So because of this, Rogue One was really close to my heart. Not the film, but the feeling.
Yeah.
The film was spectacular. I loved it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to share this little bit of why I really like Rogue One. And of course, if I really, really like something, I'd like to spend time analyzing why it is that I enjoyed it. And so for myself, I just wanted to share with everybody here, I think this is one of the reasons, a couple of the reasons why I like it, just how it wonderfully parallels the original Star Wars without
repetition,
ripping it off.
Yeah, that being just repetition. Yeah.
Without a total carbon copy, and how it seamlessly goes into Star Wars. It's just, I don't know.
I agree with you there, and let me add, I think one of the other things too is that they're all brand new characters, right? I mean, obviously besides Darth Vader and like Tarkin and stuff, but like they're all new characters. So you're getting this new kind of investment in the characters, but in kind of a familiar setting, right? So
yeah.
I think it all lined up perfect. And I'm the same way. I mean, Rogue One is absolutely up there with the original trilogy, and I don't think a lot of people would disagree with that. I think this is probably one of those like masterpiece Star Wars pieces of content, right?
Yeah, it really came together. And so the work that I do as an artist, it comes from this love of the characters and the stories. Some characters you love more than others, and this story and all of the characters were they just really came together really, really well. Yeah. So going from there, we have probably the most iconic new character. I mean, K2SO is pretty iconic.
Yeah.
I mean, non-human, in appearance. So we have the Deathtrooper. And so the Deathtrooper was one of the first pieces that I'd ever done. There's going to be more on that later. But just the design elements, I wrote here, elite, tactical, deadly. The design of the Deathtrooper communicates all three of these in an instant. One of the things George Lucas, I watched in one of the DVD extras, was how he would, I think this was when he was working with Doug Chang, not Ralph McQuarrie. He would make a determination about the look of something like within 3 seconds or something like that. Like, does it communicate the purpose of the vehicle or whatever it is that he's looking at, that the concept artist comes up.
Mhm.
And so I think that the Deathtrooper is one of the most awesome, ass-kicking, just superb designs. And so if you have that kind of love of edgy design, you instantly just fall in love with the Deathtrooper. It's absolutely fantastic. I did my best to try to get in touch with the folks that were behind the scenes on the designing front. I really wanted to bring that kind of information to you guys, but they're just
Busy, probably.
Glenn Dillon, David, I can't remember his name, David Caswell, I can't remember. Anyway, I'm not even going to try to remember. But I tried to reach out to them. Some of them have social media, some of them don't. I talked to the 3D artist, and he didn't have a lot to say about how things came up. But the end result is there's no arguing just that it's a fantastic design. So I fell in love with it. One of the first pieces I ever did when I got started doing this. So what we did was, with this piece, we're doing our work with Victor Botha. He's the best Deathtrooper on the planet. So why is he the best? So what happened is that I reached out to Victor, and it was just like, what do you call it? Hitting the jackpot.
Mhm.
I had no idea. You know, you just reach out to people, you don't know who they are.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's going to be like. And Victor, it was just absolutely amazing. So what's the story with Victor? So Victor, first of all, he's a super cool guy. We'll do the interview. You'll learn everything, all the little details. But just to go down the list here, Victor, first guy ever to wear the suit. You'll see it in the interview how that happened. He's in every scene with director Krennic where there's a Deathtrooper. So he's always hanging around. He has a couple of stories from behind the scenes with the actor.
Mhm.
It's Victor who takes out, I can never get this guy's name right, Chirrut Imwe.
Yeah.
So Chirrut Imwe, the blind Jedi, I am one with the Force is with me. He takes him out on the beat. It's Victor, right? And Victor was a model for for Battlefront. He was scanned. He's 6'4", huge guy, military background. That's how he got the gig. And so he was scanned for the video games and Rogue One memorabilia. So if you have a sideshow statue or any other kind of statue that is licensed by Disney, there's a very good chance it's Victor, right? So he's the Deathtrooper of Deathtroopers. He was always on screen. He's right next to the director. He's taken out rebels. You know, he's in all the swag. And he's a super nice guy. You'll see in the interview.
Really nice.
Very, 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 very nice. So Nancy and I couldn't have been more pleased. Again, as you guys know, is my first interview. So pardon the lack of professionalism. I also had
the beep.
Oh yeah, there's lots of beeping. Somebody had one of his kids or his wife or somebody was using the microwave in the background at some point.
Every now and again you hear it. It's like, oh, I can't get it out.
But yeah, we were really lucky. He's the main guy, the main Deathtrooper. Really, really cool. So we were so blessed to have such a positive experience with him. So what happened on my end? On my end, like I said, I started working on the piece years ago. I can't even remember. This is back when I was doing monochrome stuff. So black inks, Japanese pens, Sakura micron pens, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's just my standard approach to hyper realism. You know, these are the largest illustrated renderings of these characters, I think, in the world. Like, there's all kinds of different renderings. There's posters and graphics and that kind of thing. I don't really think anybody else is doing what I'm doing.
The hand drawn to that size.
Yeah, hand drawn at this size. As everybody knows or should know, it just takes a really long time. It takes less and less and less time as you know, master anything. And so I try to move on and do different things. Yeah, this is just a shot of it. It's almost done. So what ended up happening is after we were allowed to move back into our place, I had to start organizing our next print. That was this, reach out to Victor. So what you do is, or what I do, is we bring the artwork down to Alan, our photographer and our printer. And so that's what I did. I brought this, wrapped it up, brought it down, and we photographed it. We're at the studio, and we're just shooting it. And what I realized, Alan and Nancy were very, very complimentary on the work. But when I came to collect it, we took it off the wall, and I realized that between the years, I don't know when this was done, maybe 2016, 2017 or something. So between 2017 and today, I had learned a lot. There was so much stuff so many different techniques that I had learned that I couldn't, like Alan and Nancy, as I said, they were both so complimentary and they were so kind.
Yeah, he couldn't settle.
And they're so supportive.
He's kind of brooding about it for like 24 hours. And he's just like, I'm going to keep working on it.
Yeah. And so, you pay for the photography, you take everybody's time, you bring it down to the studio, they do the shooting, it's him and his daughter, and they're running their business, and you have to make time to fit it in. And so there's a lot of pressure. Oh,
yeah.
Hey, Alan.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure to settle.
Oh, that's Al Bundy.
Yeah, that's Alan.
I love you, Alan. Hi, Alan.
There's a lot of pressure to just accept what you've got, and especially if you have really good friends saying, just go ahead, just let it go, put it out like that, it's fine. But if you're a creative person, and I'm sure the audience here is loaded with creative people in one form of expression or another, even if it's whether you should give your significant other one more kiss goodnight or not before they leave, listen to the voice that says do it. Listen to the voice that says give them another hug, give them another kiss, revisit the project, do the thing that will make you the happiest person. So I don't want to dwell on this too long, but I do want to say one more thing about it, is that if you don't, it will haunt you and haunt you and haunt you and haunt you. So the difference between being haunted by having not done it for basically the rest of your life and taking the extra, time to make it just right is so satisfying. But you have to overcome the resistance of just letting it go and accepting what you've done.
Yeah.
So, and that was a week-long kiss.
Yeah. So I bring the piece home, and I said to Nancy, it's going to take me 2 days. And I know that means it's going to take me twice as long. It's going to take 4. And it ended up taking 7. So it was 7 days, like 8 a.m. to midnight, 8 a.m. to midnight, 8 a.m. to midnight, 8 a.m. to midnight, like just grinding it out.
He had to put his other project aside and
just
focus.
The Armorer project that I'm working on. See you later. And put it all in on this. So I don't know. Did you want to jump in, Gabe? You're good?
No, yeah. So obviously, you got it all ready. You redid it, and it's available right now, right, Nancy?
Yep. Website's live. It's
Okay.
410.
It's our 10th print, so we're really excited about that.
So we have the signature series and as well as the collector's editions.
Let me just pull it up really quick because I want to show everybody. Do that, and then I also want to share something that Michael just sent me because
cool.
He allowed me to tell you guys. All right, so here's Marcel's website, and if you go to the store, and then it is up.
Okay, that's the signature series over there on the left, and if you want to go to
we have to do a bit more organizing.
I have to go scroll up again. You can actually get there a lot faster if you go to the top.
Oh, I went to the signature first.
Okay, yeah.
So if you go back to store.
Okay.
Scroll up a little bit. Scroll up. Hit collector's edition.
Why hit that one?
Because then it brings up the collector's edition right at the top.
Yeah, but let's go back to the signature.
That's
the more exciting one.
Important one right now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the signature. Okay.
Yeah.
So here it is. It's available right now.
So yeah, we will talk about this. That's the CAD price.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's it's a copy of the original artwork. We're going to go through all this, but thank you for bringing up the store because that's where people want to go.
Yeah.
So what's happening right now is it's the original print size, so it's 30 by 40. And we have a couple of different varieties.
Yeah.
That you're checking out right now.
Yeah.
So Victor is in the UK. So what we do is once the pre-order window closes, and we'll talk about that, that's July 1st. Once the pre-order window closes, we are going to order so it's a limited edition to the number of things that people pre-order.
Okay. Not pre-order. They actually order it.
Well, they order it. Yeah, when you order it. So if 10 people order this signature series, we usually buy like a couple of extra plaques.
Yeah.
The reason why we buy a couple of extra plaques is sometimes they get damaged in transit. And so it's good to have a couple of extra on hand in case someone who ordered one, if you only get the number that you order and one of them comes damaged, then you're kind of SOL. So we always order a couple of extra. So it's a super limited edition to the number of people that order it between now.
Next 9 days, yeah.
Yeah, between now and July 1st.
Yeah.
So let me just go through. So normally, because you've been doing this in recent editions, right? You've been offering them with different backgrounds.
Yeah.
But this one, and then some of them, you've been offering them like the Marshall Lucas one, right? That one you offered a color one and then a black and white one. Similar, you're doing a similar thing here, right? Where they can get it
color details.
Yeah. So the original artwork is monochrome.
Yeah.
And then we put it's got a white or a black background.
Right.
And then there's the colored, so the visor and the lights at the bottom. That's on a white or a black background. So there's 4 editions: monochrome, white and black background, color, white and black background.
But they're all part of the same run.
But all the same.
They're all part of the same run. So they're all part of the signature series. And so we
sizes, right?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And both sizes you're offering on these?
Not for signature.
So the signature series is limited to the 30 by 40.
Okay.
So it's a larger size piece. It's a feature piece.
Okay.
For a large piece of real estate in your gallery or in your home.
Okay.
And it's limited to the number of people that order it.
Got it.
So we're really, really excited about it. And Victor's into it. And it's been a great experience so far. So head on over to the store.
Yeah. And
I can actually on the images I have here, I was just going to go through all the stuff.
Images. Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Let me bring those back.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go through that. So we have our signature series. Yeah. So here's the signature series pieces. So they're 30 by 40. So this is monochrome on white, monochrome on black. We started adding black because our fans and collectors asked us to.
Yeah.
And then another collector asked us if we were going to add color. So this is
lights.
color on white.
Yeah.
And this is color on black.
Yeah.
And so this, you'd be surprised at how much art direction even just adding these colors takes, because you want to get it just right.
Right.
So this is the signature series. It's 30 by 40. You receive your signed gold plaque, limited edition to pre-orders. You get your gloves, your certificate.
Gloves.
Well, handling is really important.
Yeah.
And
you just replace one.
Pre-orders are available now, and they close July 1st. And then that's it. So for the Victor Botha Supreme Deathtrooper on planet Earth, this is what's happening. It ships once we get the signatures. So we ship everything out. Nancy came up with this awesome way of shipping plaques. So they come and go
using painter's tape and
very safely.
Plastic, yeah.
So you can see here, it's $11.75 CAD, which is a real bargain for our American
Canadian dollar's not very strong.
brothers and sisters. And then there's the collector's edition. So the collector's edition is for folks that might want a smaller size.
But the large size too.
And they have the large size as well. So there's the 30 by 40. The 30 by 40 comes with a gold or silver plaque.
Okay. Nice.
And the 16 by 20 comes with, well, optional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comes with the, so this would be a 30 by 40 collector's edition.
Nice.
Yeah, and so that information is here. So collector's edition, so it's just basically the non-signature series. And these usually sell out long after the pre-order is over, because people,
these will stay. These will keep running after the first.
Yeah. So people order their pre-orders; those are gone. So people come back, they say, "Oh, I missed the signature series," and they buy these. Or if they want a smaller one, like the 16 by 20, they're like, "Yo, dog, I don't have that kind of real estate. Are you insane?" So they grab the smaller one, the 16 by 20.
Mm-hmm.
So the 30 by 40 is limited to 25. And the smaller edition is limited to 50.
Got it.
And so the price breakdown is there: 250 CAD, 183 USD, and of course that like fluctuates a little bit.
Yeah, but that's today.
Depending upon what's going on with currencies.
Yeah, with the currencies. Okay.
Yeah. So oh, this is a gallery. So I wanted to show some gallery pieces.
Yeah.
A little bit later. So that's it. That's what we're doing.
Gonna move into the interview.
And now it's unless you had any comments, Gabe, it's time for our interview. So we just set up the interview. I reached out to him.
Yeah.
Super nice guy. I did a bunch of research on him before I interviewed him. Mm-hmm. Lots of interesting stuff. He was in Belgium for a while with his family, and before we did the interview, I wanted to just chat with him to find out, hey man, you're a human being. I want to find out about you. I'm not just here to talk about Star Wars. So we had a chance to do that. He's very gracious, right? He gave a lot of his time.
Yeah.
Super nice guy. And like I said, just couldn't be happier. Very exciting.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we have like about a 40-minute interview with him. So what's in the interview? So the interview is basically how, go ahead.
Marcel, before you do that, because we're going to get right into the interview, let me show this video that Michael, because Michael,
go for it.
Cool.
Why he's not here.
All right, let's check it out.
Let me show you guys really quick. All right. You guys see him? Here's a special message from Michael.
Good looking boy.
Hey, my dark side follower. We're sitting here on a great Saturday night, and we're on hanging out with a friend here. Say hello to you.
This is a crazy place. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. She's awesome. Hope you guys are having a great evening. See you.
There you go.
Was it Leah Thomas or something?
Yeah, Leah Thompson. Yeah.
Leah Thompson.
Yeah. Marty McFly's mom hanging out with her.
Nice.
Yeah, so I just wanted to check because he just sent me that. But go ahead.
For sure, man.
Prop up the interview.
So the interview is basically how he got into it, and just some behind the scenes stuff. The filming of it. So this interests a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. So if you're interested in behind the scenes stuff, that's what this is about. If you're interested in how he got in and out of the gear, that's what this is about. If you're interested in like what was it like navigating around in this helmet in which you can see almost nothing, some 501st guys might be interested in that. That's what this is about. So it's, how did he go from being a young boy in South Africa to somebody in
rural South Africa.
Yeah, in the UK military, to Hollywood. And so that's what this is about.
Let's watch it. So Marcel and I, we're still, I'm just going to play the video. So we'll still be in here and commenting and stuff. The comments off the side. Or if you need me to stop it or something, you want to comment on something, Marcel, just let me know.
Okay? I think we'll be good. I wish, the only regret I have is I didn't hire Scotty for a fantastic intro.
Music intro.
I know.
Oh, and apologies. At some point, once somebody in his family uses a microwave and there is some beeping, we tried to get the beeping out. Our apologies. We couldn't do that. All right, let's roll it.
All right, let's play.
Recording. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming around to this part of our stream. I am here with the mighty Victor Botha, who plays the Deathtrooper in Rogue One. The Deathtrooper is one of the most amazing modern designs in Star Wars. It's become an absolutely iconic figure, and Victor Botha is one of the main dudes playing the Deathtrooper in Rogue One. So warm welcome to Victor. Thank you so much, buddy, for coming on the show and participating with us in this new release.
Thanks for having me, yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much, buddy. So I had a couple of questions for you. I've done a little bit of research. I'll be referring to my notes, and let's get into it. So it's my understanding that after school completed, you decided to go to the UK for a couple of years, and you decided to stay a little bit longer than you had planned. Just like let me know about that. How did that go?
Well, basically, I left school in 2001 in South Africa. At that time, there was a big influx of South Africans traveling overseas for like we used to have like a working holiday visa, so you can get permission to travel to England, Australia, and that kind of stuff, and work and travel, get experience. My first job was working in a factory over here over in England. Did that. Worked in Scotland for a bit as a barman and waiter and stuff like that. And then after the 2-year point, my visa was going to run out, and I've always wanted to be a pilot. So and that's when I found out that you can join the British Army because we are part of the Commonwealth, and you can become a pilot, a helicopter pilot. So I decided to do that.
Was that what you were doing? Were you piloting helicopters, or were you ground crew?
No,
or were you doing
I was. Yeah, so when you join as a soldier, ground soldier, you have to do infantry training first and all that kind of stuff, and then you go into your trade, which was ground crewman. And then from there on, when you get to the rank of corporal, you can apply to be a pilot. But unfortunately, when I got to the point of being corporal, I found out I was colorblind, so I couldn't be a pilot.
But for the military, there can't be any problems.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, I had when I did my medical in basic training. Well, before basic training, you have to do a medical, and there was a slight noise in my heart that was different, and I had to wait 6 months to go and get it checked out. And luckily, it wasn't anything. They thought it was like a heart murmur or something, but
right.
Yeah, luckily it wasn't anything, so I got to join the army.
Okay, cool. Right on. So, there was a question I wanted to ask you. So, going from South Africa to the UK, like when we traveled and lived in Japan, it was astonishing. The cultural difference was really profound, and obviously, I mean, you have a very homogenous society. So it was really interesting adapting to living in Japan. What do you have any like interesting stories about adapting to life in the UK?
Well, it was at the beginning, yes. Because I grew up on a farm in South Africa, so I was in the middle of nowhere. I never had a McDonald's until I came to England, stuff awesome. Like that. Yeah, so we hardly ever had any takeaway food. So it was like I was almost indulging when I first came to England. The weekend after a night out in a club, you McDonald's first thing, So yeah, it was crazy. That's the kind of thing. But the lifestyle, the people, it's not that much different because we grew up very like everything we saw on TV was American or English, in South Africa. So we grew up with all that kind of lifestyle, and so it wasn't that difficult. The people were nice and were quite similar to us. Yeah. So
cool.
Yeah.
Right on. That's excellent. Yeah, I can imagine how everything is like your first Big Mac This is my first time doing this, my first time going to the club and stuff like that. Did you meet your wife, Ruth, in the UK, or did she come with you? Was she someone that you knew from South Africa, or?
No, I was in the army already for about 2 or 3 years. Yeah, and then I met her while I was in the army. Yeah, but she,
cool.
because she used to be a model, and she worked in South Africa 5 years prior to me meeting her, and she knew South Africans and everything. So yeah, that's kind of how we met.
So you had like a common background.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, she's English, but yeah, she knows about South Africans.
Nice. So she plays an important role in your getting the Deathtrooper gig. Because, and I was quite curious about this. So after you've completed your work as in the military, and so you were transitioning into a new kind of lifestyle, she's the one who signed you up for an acting agency based on the fact that you had years of military experience. And so how was she inspired to make that decision, like say, hey, why don't we sign you up as an actor?
Well, it was just blind luck, really. I was because when you leave the military, you get 6 months to do any courses and stuff like that to transition you into civilian life. And I did my courses in the first 2 or 3 months, and then I had 3 months of not doing anything. So I was looking for stuff to do, whatever, and that's when my wife decided to just sign me up as an extra or something like that to try and get some stuff. It's a new experience I've never had before. Tried it, and the first thing that came up was it was codenamed Los Alamos, actually. So I didn't have a clue what it was for. They just said come and meet at Pinewood Studios, and we'll tell you there further more about what's going on. Yeah.
Okay, so you head on over to Pinewood, and you discover that there's like, how many guys were there trying to get the same job as you were?
They were at that first interview. There was probably about maybe between 10 and 15. I would imagine. I can't remember exactly. Some military guys as well. It was still in the military, so they must have signed up for it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then some other people were there for other roles as well, auditions. I still don't know what it was all about, but as soon as we went into the dressing room, the costumes room, as they call it, where all the dressers are, everyone went mad because they saw all the costumes there and the suits and the armor and the stormtrooper stuff, and everyone, oh no, it's Star Wars, it's Star Wars. Yeah, so then everyone just went crazy. And
so it's my understanding that I'm not sure, from watching other interviews that you were in, it's my understanding that they came out, the dressing director or whomever it is, and said, hey, who wants to be first? And you were the guy who raised your hand.
Yeah, no, I've always been taught in the army, when you volunteer, you always put your hand up first and try and do everything first and get the experience or whatever. You never know what you're going to get into, but this time it was a lucky go. So I was basically the first one to put that Deathtrooper costume on, the armor. Yeah.
And so when you went in there, your eyes light up. Everybody, I know that you weren't that, like, I know that Star Wars was kind of new, but obviously everybody knows about Star Wars.
Yeah.
And you're trying on the suit. So it's my understanding that you had like a couple of people helping you out with that.
Yeah. So basically, you must. I don't know if you've ever seen the armor, the way it is put on and everything. So it's all in different parts. There's elastic bands everywhere, straps, Velcro. There's an undersuit that you have to put on first. It's almost like a boiler suit kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, that's all tied to your body. So at the first time we put it on, I think I was there for about 45 minutes to an hour, and it was about 2-3 guys helping you put everything on, and you can't put the stuff. As soon as you put the stuff on your legs, you can't bend your legs anymore properly. You can't bend your middle body and your abs properly anymore. So you're almost like a stick man, and that's why we had to go there and fit it on. to make sure we look natural. Yeah.
Right. So while they're putting on this gear, like, are you thinking there's no way I'm going to do this job? This is too insane. Or like, because it was Star Wars, you're like, no, I'm locked in. I'm doing this. It doesn't matter how long I have to wear this costume.
I think that's where the military training came in, because we've gone through so many things, and as soon as you do something you don't like, you just carry on and don't give up. You just go through anything to finish the task. So I think when I put that costume and that kit on and the armor on and everything, that was me set for it, and I wasn't gonna turn back.
All right, cool. That's great. Yeah, I like that. I'm really curious. Did you have that approach towards life? Always raising your hand and always just going for it before your time in the military? Because I mean, it takes some nerve to leave where you're from and to put everything on the line and to go to another country and just live there, and you don't really know what the outcome is going to be. So were you always that kind of guy who would put your hand up and just go for it? Or is that something that the military kind of...
I think it's probably the military brought it out more. But when I finished school, I think that's the way. I think I got into it a bit more, but I was still a bit shy. But the military just brought it out a bit more, and it gives you more confidence. The military, so I think it's got to do probably 90% of it's from the military. You don't have a choice there. You just have to be like that.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. It just takes a lot of nerve to build up and strengthen that part of your character. And I think it provides a lot of opportunities that otherwise people might miss if they didn't have that quality about them. One of the things I've learned about, I'm not sure if this is correct, is that after you're geared up and you've got the gig, all the pieces of the armor is tagged, so it's not going to leave the studio. Is that correct? Everything is tagged? That's right.
Yeah. So you can where all the costumes, armor, and everything is stored. You can't. It's got those machines. I don't know what you call them when you go into a clothing shop or something like that. So if you steal something and you take it out, it starts beeping and everything. So that's basically what it is in there. You can't take anything out without permission to go out. So that's the first thing people ask me normally at Comic-Cons and stuff. Did you take anything out with you? And I think it was impossible. There's security guards everywhere. You can't take anything. They're watching you 24/7.
Right. Sure.
So even with the Deathtrooper, it was even worse because no one was allowed to see our kit, armor, or anything outside the studio. When we were walking from the tent where we got dressed and everything up into the actual studio, we were covered up. Our heads were covered up. Our helmets weren't on show. We were wearing cloaks to cover everything. Not even the people in the studio were allowed to see what the Deathtrooper looked like.
Yeah, I heard about that, and I was wondering. I guess inside the studio, people can try to take pictures and that sort of thing to sort of leak. It's Star Wars, so everybody wants the big scoop. But I've also heard that on location, like if you're outdoors, there's drones and planes going overhead. Did you ever see any of that stuff?
So there was airplanes flying over all the time, taking pictures, and we had to once again cover ourselves up. As soon as they were coming up, we had to put cloaks on and everything. People, when we go to the studio and we go into the tent where we get changed and everything, we have to give our mobile phones back into the people over there, the assistants.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to have your phone all day. So maybe at lunchtime you can go and sign it out and go on and check messages. But during the day in the studios, no one is allowed to have phones at all. So I think it got leaked from those people who were flying the airplanes over when we were on location on on the beach shoot that was Scarif, I think. It was
Right.
people flying over all the time. Yeah,
That's incredible.
yeah.
Wow. So could you like hear them coming, or was it really
Oh
quiet?
yeah, they were flying
so
quite
high?
low. Yeah, so it wasn't actually there wasn't any drones. It was just like small 2-seater airplanes. Yeah, that was coming
Oh,
over.
okay.
Yeah, and they can fly quite low, so you hear them coming. Yeah.
So if you tell me a little bit about some of the locations that you had the opportunity that you were shooting in. There's some stuff done inside the studio and a lot of beautiful shots outside. I know you weren't always very comfortable, but so where were some of the location shots you went to, and what was your experience like?
Well, obviously the first ones were in the studio, and I was already amazed by the work these guys were doing in the studios. And even now when I look back at the carpentry stuff they were doing and building the sets, it's just amazing. The attention to detail and all that was crazy. So the studios were amazing. We were in one studio where Krennic was interrogating all the scientists there, and it was raining the whole time.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, so that scene was probably took a week to do, and we were there every single day getting soaked. And in a studio the rain isn't like outside, it's just like soft, nice and gentle rain falling. In a studio it's like sprayers from the ceiling and everything, so it's just like it gets into every crevice of you and it stays there all day.
Is it room temperature rain?
I guess so, yeah. The temperature wasn't too bad. That wasn't bothered, but yeah, just having wet shoes and hands all day. Yeah, that's not nice, eh?
So was that scene that you were just referring to in Scarif? I remember that you mentioned there was a scene that used a type of explosive. Is that the scene that you were talking about?
Yeah, so that was there was a stage set up there, and while it was raining, obviously, and then the whole in between Krennic and the scientists, the floor was all made out of like polystyrene, so we couldn't walk over there, across there, or nothing, because all the effects and everything were underneath there with the explosions and everything. And then all of a sudden, the first time it went off, I must tell you, I literally like. But I was so scared. I never had an explosion like that other than in the army when I was in Iraq and Afghanistan. It was mad. It was so loud, and I actually think me falling back, and it wasn't acting like falling back and all that, because it was
right.
real. Yeah, and everyone else said it afterwards. That was amazing. Yeah, because the reaction from everyone was so, natural for something like that. Yeah,
it was quite unexpected.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Did they have to do that more than once, or did they only have one crack at it?
They only had one take, and I don't think that actually, as far as I can remember, they weren't actually telling people when it was going to happen.
Right.
They were, they were practicing it the whole time, and then all of a sudden it just went off this one shoot, and that was it. Yeah.
Cool. Right on. I'm glad that you mentioned Krennic, because in some of your some of the things I've heard you mention before, you were basically pretty much wherever there was a Deathtrooper and Krennic, you were in the scene with him.
Yeah. So
okay, cool.
when the first scene we did was one we walked into, I think it was the control room of the Death Star. I'm not completely sure, but where I spoke before, I had to walk up the stairs, and it was so dark. It's the first time I'm wearing the armor on the set and everything, and we had to follow him in, like on his left and right hand side. And it was so the first 2 or 3 times I tripped over the stairs because it was so dark. But yeah, everywhere he basically went, we were like his bodyguards, really.
Did you get did he? So I know everybody's got a job to do, and so it's pretty much, on set, it's mostly business. But did the actor, I forget his name, Ben Mendelsohn, I think?
That's right.
Did he have a chance to chat with you at all, or?
It's not like a one-to-one chat, but it's like Every now and again, maybe make a joke when something goes wrong on a scene or something like that, or but it wasn't really. But he's a real friendly guy. He makes jokes all the time, smokes cigarettes like no tomorrow.
So he was helping you kind of relax.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah, so he was obviously he's a trained professional and he knows how it goes, and everything just seemed so natural to him, so it was really good, really good.
Well, that kind of brings up another question. Of course, you have all this traveling experience and you have all this military experience, but here you are on set, and there's some more instances I wanted to talk to you about where it's quite challenging to see, almost impossible to see. But how did you feel? You have a lot of life experience, but being on set must have been a challenge. I mean, did you feel any kind of nervousness, or you're like, oh my god?
No, definitely, yeah, definitely. You don't want to mess up, and you feel a bit starstruck when you're seeing all these other. Well, Ben Mendelsohn. I always forget the girl who plays the main role.
Oh my god. Yeah, I can't remember either. Don't worry. Everybody knows, and somebody will put it in the comment.
Yeah. So you always get nervous when you're in a scene with them, but yeah, it's an experience, and sometimes you have to tell yourself don't stare or anything like that. But luckily you've got the helmet on, so you can stare as much as you want.
Right. There was another incident that you've mentioned quite frequently, so I apologize to have to ask to bring it up yet again. But I found it to be quite. It was very impactful. So you talked about how there was a drop ship on Scarif, and hopefully we have the ability to edit it into this, where there's the drop ship and the ramp lowers and the fan is behind you, and you're wearing this impossible costume in which you're trying to see. What were some of the problems with that?
The thing, we ran down this ramp, and it's almost like, I don't know if you know the Chinook helicopter, it's almost like that. So you're running down this ramp, but the ramp is like maybe 5 foot above the ground, 3 to 5 foot above the ground, and then you have to jump off. But with the visors and everything being, you can only see forward really, and you don't want to bend your head down looking like that, because that's just going to ruin a shot. You have to look forward, and you have to know when the end of the ramp is coming, so you don't just fall off and actually jump off. The water wasn't that deep because it was all like man-made. Scarif, I don't know if I didn't tell you already, but Scarif was man-made on a ex-military, RAF, Royal Air Force Base, used to be in England, North London. So, and they use it for a lot of scenes in movies now, like that Brad Pitt movie with the tanks and everything was shot there, and that kind of stuff. So it was a big, like a dam almost made. It was almost about knee deep of water, so we had to run through that. Running through the water at the beginning, it's just running through water, but when you do it about 200 times, it's not easy anymore. So we had to sprint through this water. The water was probably about 30 meters long, and then we had to do the beach assault onto Scarif, and that was tiring. I was lucky. I had the military training, like I said before, to never give up. You just keep going, because that stunt director was on us all the time. We had to try our best to look natural in this armor, not running like stickmen. So it was a challenge.
Yeah, a couple of things about that. If I recall correctly, you had like a military guy on set as well, who was sort of giving you some prompts and some hints about how to move around. Were they kind of there all the time, or were they just kind of there at the beginning of the day and then you never saw them again?
It's probably when we were in the studio, we didn't see much, but when we were there on assault on Scarif, he was there all the time. He was the ex-Royal Marine from the Navy. So he had a lot of experience. He knew what he was talking about and all that kind of stuff. So it was good having him there. Of course, only like 2 of us were ex-military guys, and then the other 4 guys were professionally trained stuntmen. So,
okay.
yeah. So they kind of knew what they were doing.
And you mentioned in the past that, like, from the beginning, after the first day, you're like just beat up and raw, and just wearing the gear and having to move around in it, because as you said, you're just like a stick man, and it's really tight and you can't really move. And that from the beginning of the shooting to the end, the end you'd gotten used to it, but by the beginning it was like quite rough. Is that correct?
Yeah, I must say, like, everywhere where it can dig in, where you have a joint in the armor or something like that, it would dig in, it would chafe you in the legs, behind the knees, everywhere. Even you couldn't sit down on a chair, it would hurt. And standing up would hurt as well. But like I said, when you at the end, you start to get used to it a little bit. And the thing is, you couldn't take it off. You put it on 6 o'clock in the morning, and the only thing you could take off was your helmet, just in case if the director calls Krennic to do a shot or a scene or something, you have to be ready to go in as soon as he goes in. So, that's why we have to have the armor on all day until like from 6 in the morning till 6 at night, just to be ready to go.
You mentioned that sorry to interrupt you.
No.
You mentioned that there were some days you were all geared up and you were never called.
Yeah, that's right. That's the worst days, when you just sit around and do nothing. But you're
so
there.
Are you able to read a book or something?
Yeah, we could read books and all that, because we were outside of the studio. So, sitting around not doing anything, I don't know. No one's ever complained about that, getting paid.
Yeah, no kidding.
So it wasn't too bad.
And what about if you're all geared up, do they say, okay, you've got like 1 bathroom trip a day and don't drink any water? I mean, what do they do?
You have to manage yourself, really. But to get one of the guys, the dressers, obviously, the costume guys, to take everything off and put it back on again, they will just huff and puff at you, and you'll know about it. So the less bathroom breaks you could do, the better for them. You don't want to get near that size.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing that I'd heard about was that you were in a lot of scenes with Krennic. You were in all the Krennic scenes. You were the first guy to put on the gear. And you and just one of the other Death Troopers, you guys are the main. You guys were the 2 that had your body scans done. So this correct? So for like all of the merchandising and all of the toys and hot toys and sideshow statues and stuff like that, anything that was used as Star Wars or Rogue One merchandise and sold to collectors, there's a 50% chance that's your body scan that they used. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, like me and Rodney Tosh, the other guy, was ex-military as well. It was crazy for me as well, because I've never been in a studio like this. We'll have like 360 cameras all the way around you, and you have to do different poses. And you can see when I take the picture how it comes out on a computer. Now it's like a 3D shot and everything. So it blew my mind. It was really good. And then they told us that this is the photos and the shoots is getting done for the toys and everything. And then we were so upset that we weren't like credited in a movie for this kind of things. But
yeah, I was wondering about that.
And it just blew my mind that they wouldn't credit us in a movie as Death Troopers. And
oh, what your name did not appear in the credits?
No, not at all.
No
it's really bad. So yeah, I don't understand why that happened. So
yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, I've never heard in all the research I did for this interview. I'd never heard that before, and I didn't know. I would have assumed. Wow.
Yeah, even when I wanted to put myself onto IMBD, I had to get because I couldn't prove that I was on the movie with my name being on a cast or anything, so I had to get pay slips and invoices and everything like that from being paid from them to prove that I was actually on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Huh. So yeah, were your scans, do you know if your scan was used for the Battlefront 2 video game?
I imagine so, because there was no other scans done while me and Rodney were there. So, I guess that was it, because we had to do a lot of poses of different stances and different, and movements, running, stuff like that. So, I would imagine that's what it was used for. Yeah.
Is that like a full day? You're in there just getting
It was
scanned?
so those days that was really quiet. We would be in there for like half an hour to an hour every time doing that. So we did that probably 3 or 4 times, just taking photos and posing. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah.
Right on. I had one more thing, one more question for you about the film itself, which is that I just wanted to make sure I had this right. I'm not sure, so guess I figured I would ask. So the actor Donnie Yen, I always get these names wrong. He plays Chirrut Imwe, basically the everybody knows him as the blind guy who's one with the Force, and the Force is one with him. As what I've learned, and I just wanted to know if this is accurate, is you're the guy on the beach who takes him out.
Yeah, that's right. So that's my one bad dark side thing I did. So yeah, it was really cool actually, because Gareth, the director,
Gareth
Edwards, that's right.
Yeah,
he was there. I remember the day because I got paid a little bit extra just because the director was there talking to me, directing me and everything. So he told me what to do, which direction to shoot and everything. So yeah, I was the one who shot him.
That's incredible. So when you are in the shot, and because the gun is a prop, you're just kind of taking a guess on how much recoil the gun has, if any recoil at all.
Yeah, that's what it was funny, because we were all there shooting, giving a bit of recoil and all that, and making our own shooting noises. And you were expecting to in the movie see all you don't know what you're going to hear when the movie comes out. So when the movie came out, it was actually quite cool to hear the proper noises our guns were making, and blasters and everything. So yeah, but it was funny.
The Deathtroopers have this pretty cool communication sound design, but when you guys are shooting, you guys are not actually talking to each other.
No, nothing. So yeah, once again, loads of people ask about it in the Comic Cons as well, but we didn't have a clue what sound we're going to be making, or communications, what it was going to be like, or nothing. So that was all added afterwards. Yeah.
Cool. Just a couple more questions, because I don't want to take up too much of your time.
No.
All right, cool. Right on. Were there any scenes? This is, because of what happened with some of the trailers, and the scenes in the trailers didn't show up in the film. It always happens where some scenes are shot, different takes that don't appear in the film itself. And do you have any recollection of any kind of cool scenes that were shot that you were like, that didn't make it?
Yeah, it was basically the last scene when everyone dies on Scarif, that beach assault we did. So once again, I can't remember the names of the guys, but the guy who had the big blaster that was from the rebellion, he had this big massive gun on his back, and it almost looked like a vacuum cleaner on the back of his back.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either.
He was running towards us, and the way we first shot it was we took one of us had a grenade, and we threw it towards him, and it actually it's like almost like a magnet grenade, so it got stuck onto him, and then he decided to just be like a kamikaze and run into us, towards us, and then blow us all up. And that's how it happened before, yeah. And then,
but that was like the film had a different outcome where he's at a distance. Everybody's shooting him. I think I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, everyone shoots him, and then at the end, one Deathtrooper falls down, and a grenade falls out of his hand, and it blows up. Yeah.
Ah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant to watch the film last night before our discussion today, but I was a little bit under the weather and and didn't get around to it. So just winding down, how did you feel? You know, you get out of the military, you get this gig. How long was shooting? Like, how long were you doing the job?
Oh yeah, I think as far as I can remember, it was probably all together, on and off. Everything probably lasted about 2 months. You know,
Okay.
going to Iceland, because we went to Iceland for probably about 10 days. And we were shooting on that location on a ex-RAF military base for that was 10 days as well, you know, and then the studios took up everything else. Yeah, really.
When you wrapped up, did they send you off with any parting gifts or anything like that, or it was just like, no, thanks for the job?
No, I think it's not. We're not really anything special, you know. So I don't know what to expect really. Just even for a rap or something like that. So not getting anything was not anything bad for me really.
Right. Yeah, for sure. No, I was just curious. So you go from it being in the military to doing this work, and now you're in kind of like the center of this Star Wars space, which is completely new. So how was that for you?
It's crazy because, like I mentioned before, I've never seen a Star Wars film before I went on the movie. But then afterwards, I had to start watching the films with my son and everything, start from the beginning and work our way through the Star Wars universe and everything. So, because I never expected to go on to Comic-Con, so I just got asked by someone actually approached me and said, would I like to have an agent to organize some signings for me and everything. I said, oh, well, it's a bonus for me. I'll do it.
Yeah.
And so I got into that as well. Obviously, when people come up to get some autographs, you have to know a little bit about something. So, yeah, I had to educate myself a bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just worked out that you are playing, you know, one of the most iconic, recognizable characters in modern Star Wars. I mean, if you go, as I'm sure you've heard this a million times by now, you know, Rogue One just kind of catapulted to many people's, you know, favorite Star Wars film among them all. And
That's
here
right.
you are, you know, plucked from the military and relative obscurity, and you're just made into one of these most captivating characters in the history of the Star Wars cinematic legacy, right? I mean, that's pretty strong stuff. So anybody would definitely, you know, lots of people enjoy being in the orbit, getting as close as they can to Star Wars, whether it's through, just directors or designers or anything. Yeah. And of course, you're going to attract. I was so happy to have I was so excited, like I couldn't sleep at all last night. I was just so excited at the opportunity to just chat with you, because it just, you know, it's such a rare, you know, I don't want to say life-changing experience, but it kind of is.
A lot of people, I guess, would they think themselves special or something like that, being a character like this. In some regards, I probably am a little bit, but I'm still a normal person, and I will, you know, anyone who wants to do something like this, I'm open for it, and I'll always be there to talk to guys. I enjoy it myself, so it's a bonus for me.
Did it bring a lot of attention from like your family and your friends? Because I'm guessing you, for the 2 months or maybe for a year, you weren't able to tell anybody, and then all of a sudden everybody discovered. How did that go?
No, it was really good, because people in South Africa don't know a lot about Star Wars either. Really, I guess there is a lot of people who do know about it, but where I'm from, not a lot of people do. So I did appear in the newspapers in South Africa as well, and people out of the blue, people who used to be with me in school, emailed me or contacted me on Facebook and said, "Oh, I can't believe it. We saw you in a newspaper over here, and how did it go? I couldn't believe what you had done and all that kind of stuff." So yeah, in my little hometown, I'm definitely a celebrity there.
Cool. Right on. Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. So where can people find you? People can find you on social media. I know that you're on Instagram, and that's V Botha Official Deathtrooper. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure what my Facebook page's name is, but it's probably something on those lines as well. So I just search for Victor Botha on Facebook, and you'll find it. Yeah.
Cool.
And
right
obviously,
on.
when people want autographs and stuff like that, they normally contact me on there, and I'll send them photos out and so it's a good way because I haven't been overseas in a bit, so it's a good way to get autographs and photos signed and stuff like that. So
excellent. My last question for you is: have you ever gotten any calls from Disney to appear on any other shows? Maybe I know perhaps you're not allowed to say if you're appearing on the next season of Andor, but are you appearing on the next season of Andor?
No, not that I know. So I don't think so. But I was hoping to get calls back, but it never happened. Apparently on Mandalorian, because I think some of it was done in America, and the Deathtroopers on there, they invited people who had their own armor made and everything like that to actually come onto the Mandalorian. And I don't know, for me being ex-military and all that, I could notice that the guys that was there when I was actually watching the Mandalorian, they didn't look like real soldiers. No disrespect to them or anything, but
yeah.
I just thought we look better, so I was hoping to get the call back.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Victor. It was an honor and a privilege to be able to chat with you. I know Nancy and I, for our signature series project, each signature series has a number. This is number 10. This is the 10th one that we've done. So this is going to be called Force 10. And the signature series is with myself and you. So I'm very excited at the opportunity to be able to work with you on the signature series project. Can I say signature series any more times? Anyway, we're really excited about it. I know that after hearing this, you were the first guy to wear the costume. You were in all the scenes with Krennic. You took out one of the most important rebels in the scene. Your body scan was used in all the collectibles and hot toys and merchandise. Victor Botha is the iconic Deathtrooper figure. So I couldn't be more pleased, Nancy and I couldn't be more pleased to be working with you. And we're so grateful for you to take the time to sit down with us and share your thoughts and experiences. So thank you so much, Victor. Everybody definitely will put his information below about how you can get in touch with him for your own Deathtrooper collectibles and memorabilia. I guess that's it, man. Any final thoughts, or we're good to go?
I'll just say thank you for you as well. It's been an awesome pleasure to be here. You were great, and I thank you for having such a nice, doing such a nice thing with the picture and everything. It looks really great, and I hope it goes well.
Me too, brother. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. He's just
both muted there. Yeah, awesome, man. He's such a cool guy, man. And
he was really nice.
Yeah.
So what happened was we did the interview, and I handed it over to Nancy, and she edited everything, put in all of the fonts and texts, and scrounged around Rogue One for every single scene and image.
I actually sent a bunch to him to find out which ones were him, and he sent back indicating which ones he was, which guy he was.
Oh, great! Yeah,
so
you did a great job,
fantastic.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, that was fun, especially like when you cut away to the scenes and like, great job. Yeah.
Thanks, Gabe, because I know you're also very deeply
high praise from a videographer such as yourself.
Yeah, we back like a few years ago when COVID first kicked in and our school stopped. The school where I worked at closed. I started a record label, and while I was doing the record label, I spent a lot of time researching and interviewing musicians and producers and stuff like that. So it was really nice to be able to get back into it and to go back and look at Victor and see what he had done and how everything had happened for him, and then to sit down and talk to him about it. So yeah, that's basically it. I hope you guys, everybody, enjoyed watching the piece. You know, I think we're not just here to, you know, sell art. Of course, you should definitely go buy it. But we're trying to create experiences for ourselves. We're trying to like put ourselves in a position where we have to learn new skills, where, you know, you never know what's going to happen when you try something new. And so there's the editing and interviewing and reaching out and talking to people, and you just cross your fingers that it goes really well. And like 9 times out of 10 it does. If you could, you can I do this? Can I click the photos, or can you click the photos?
Yeah, you want.
I just wanted to show a couple of images here. So is this it? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so just before we wrap it up, as far as this goes, of course I want to thank you, Gabe, for hosting us.
Anytime.
Thanks, Gabe.
You know, and everybody watching. So I engage and interact and you know, am friends with, you know, a great number of people that watch the show. And while, you know, maybe Collection Wars, because you've got so much stuff going on, and Mike has so much stuff going on, he's trying to, you know, we're not the only people who are trying to make interesting things happen. Mike is also doing the same thing. So you kind of have to live at the edge of your seat, and sometimes the schedule doesn't always is not always consistent because life just doesn't work that way. But it's really comforting to be able to come back here. You know, of course, this is where we started out, and it's just really, really great to be able to come back and hang out with you and spend time here. I just wanted to share some images with the gang. These are just some images of things that people have done. You know, does this need to be bigger? What? What are you trying to do?
Remember, you could stretch the bottom corner and it'll.
Oh, I think it's kind of stretched. Some of these pictures are pretty small. But I just grabbed, honestly, it's terrible. I just grabbed them off my Instagram page. I don't really save them so well. These are just some images of what our pieces look like. You know, it would be great if I could like have a beautiful framed and matted piece behind me. But
I love that with the type with like the contrast on the
side. Yeah, I mean, it's just the presentation that some people come up with, and there's so many more photos. I just had to grab.
Yeah.
Everybody sends us all
amazing stuff.
All sorry, and I apologize for the size. They're quite. Some are quite small, and I really do apologize for that.
Shrink the box up now this time to like fit the picture. Yeah.
Oh, see, always something new to learn.
Yeah.
So you don't get the.
Is that it? Is that better?
That's probably as close as big as you're gonna get it. Yep.
Yeah, I apologize, everybody. I'm learning, and I got to get my photo skills together. Nice. So yeah, there's just all kinds of things that people do with our work, and it's just so gratifying to meet everybody and have them send their stuff. And I think maybe there's our guy, our brother Eben.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the last one. So I don't know. Should I just close it?
Yeah,
Luke?
you can consider. Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, go to our site, grab
Yep.
yourself Victor Botha MRC signature series. We're really excited about it, and we hope you are too.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and everybody watching. Thank you so much. Hopefully
Tim.
next week we'll be back with Michael. We're still trying to figure out. It's still in the works because I'm going to be in Dallas, Texas for the Rebel Scum Con. So I'll be there Thursday through Sunday. So hopefully we could do a show on Saturday. Who knows? You know, like I'm you know, they invited me there, so I'm gonna be in the same hotel as like with all the basically like the convention like like the guests, you know, so like with some of the stars and stuff that are gonna be there. So who knows? Maybe I might be able to, you know, scoop one up and see if we could get them on the show on Saturday, or if Michael ends up coming down because he said he might come down to Dallas, we could do a show together. And then anybody attending that convention, obviously, you know, hit me up. On Sunday, we're going to do a panel. We're going to talk
Is Nilda going to be there? I think
Nilda's
Nilda's
going to be there. Yep, Nilda's going to be there, and yeah, so it should be pretty fun. So
right on, right on.
cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you again, Marcel. Don't forget, guys, pick up your print. It's available right now. And yeah, and this is a highly anticipated one. I know that. I mean, Deathtroopers are one of those, you know, those characters that a lot of people like. You know, they're definitely fan favorites. So
And Victor's a nice dude.
Yeah.
You know, so he loves receiving, you know, the plaques to sign, and he's such a laid back, chill guy.
He really is.
Every now and then you come across some folks and they're kind of, you know, a bit cold, but he's just a warm-hearted
Really,
dude, you know. So I look forward to sending him a number of plaques and getting them out to everybody.
absolutely. Well, cool. Well, guys, thank you again. It's always a pleasure to have you guys and chat. Always welcome on Collection Wars.
Thank you, Tal.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching, and we'll
Thank
keep you
you.
updated. We'll keep you updated on next week. But yeah, we're definitely going to trying to get back on schedule with the shows. But until next time, thanks, guys.
Ciao, babies.
Thank you.